Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome into D. Armstrong WLTZ Facebook Live. WLTZ, that's where you find D. Got a great Talk to Me Tuesday today. I'm going to jump right in there because I got to cover so much stuff today, a lot of stuff going on. And some of the stuff is giveaways. Okay, let's get with the giveaways first. The giveaways are here. I've got another one of those sharper image key finders to give away. So if you're having a problem losing your keys, which I did this morning, and I have one at home. I haven't connected it though. But let me know. Say, D, hook me up. I can't find my keys. I want the sharper image key finder. And I'll tell you what, I'll put your name in the hat and we give those away on Friday. Also, did you know that there is a significant number of people in Columbus who have never, ever been to Callaway Gardens? Well, I'll tell you what, we are giving away tickets to Callaway Gardens. So what I want you to do is say, hook me up, D. I want to go to the Balloon Fest. It's September 1st through the 3rd. I want to see the balloons at Callaway Gardens, and we're going to be giving those away. The other thing that we're doing this week is I want to make sure that you know what's going on Friday in particular. Thursday is going to be great. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is going to be great. But I want you to make sure you're here. We're going to have Mike Levenstein on, and he is a state health official. And why? Because there is a warning out there, and I don't think the warning is strong enough, that Zika is a problem in Georgia. 7 women have given birth to babies with Zika. And if you haven't seen that before, just Google Zika. It's the babies that are born with the malformed heads because their brains are not formed. And so instead of having a formed head, the bones actually only cover the part of the brain that has formed. And most of the babies die in infancy, but some of them actually are able to live. But in either event, it is tragic. They will never have a normal life. So make sure you're right here and with all your questions. A lot of young ladies are told by their mothers and whatever to, get pregnant in the summer so that you'll be pregnant in the winter and you don't have to go through the heat. Well, if you're trying to get pregnant right now, you need to know that Zika is real and those mosquitoes are striking in Georgia. So I want you to make sure that you're here for that. Also, the Chattahoochee Valley Writers Association is going to be here Thursday. A lot of people are always asking me to help push their books, and I love to do that because I love to read and I love to write. But if you want to be a writer extraordinaire, there's going to be a writers conference at the Springer Theater. And I want you to make sure you join us Thursday to be a part of that. You can attend it. Some of the best writers in the country are going to be right here in Columbus. So that's what this show is about, what's happening all over the place. And I want to do this. I very rarely do this because it's just so many birthdays out here. But I looked and I said, how many of my friends have a birthday today? A whole bunch of them. I can't sing the regular happy birthday because I think that has a copyright. So I have to make one up. So this is to you, Loretta Rose, to you, Shirley Turner, Tom Brazil, and Pastor Ralph Hewling, and everybody else who has a birthday today. Happy, 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 happy birthday to you. That's my version. Okay, because if I sing the other one, they're going to charge me. Okay, it's still copywritten. Okay, so happy, 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 happy birthday. Loretta Rose, I love you, girl. Shirley Turner, grew up with her. That was a cheerleader that could jump and take it all the way in the air and come all the way. Oh! I actually hit my volume right there. Hey, Tony Benzo, did I get your email? No, I didn't. Hi, Laura Mullins-Goss. I didn't get your email. Send it to me again, darmstrong@WLTZ.com. Laura says, hook me up with those Callaway Gardens tickets. So we do have the balloon tickets, and I have the Sharper Edge Key Finder. All right, it's a Talk to Me Tuesday, so get your. This is your opportunity to let me know and the world know what it is you think about things. Have you heard about this? And I try to remain neutral because I still am a reporter, so I'm not here to just give my opinions, even though sometimes they slip out. Here's what's happening. Governors around the country are hearing about what's going on in a city in New York, Ithaca, New York. And Ithaca has said, you know what, we're going to take some of your tax dollars and we are going to fund what is called safe spaces. So if you're a crackhead, if you're shooting up or whatever, they provide the places for you to come. And inside that place, there is a nurse. She cannot tell on you. She cannot call the authorities on you. She's there in case you OD. They call them safe spaces, and they're saying they're trying to save lives. What do you think about that? Take a look at this package.
Under the pavilion on the Ithaca Commons is a tent that's proposing some controversial changes. The city is working to make mock supervised injection facilities like this legal and bring one to Ithaca.
People are dying every day in our community, in the southern tier and in central New York, and most politicians don't have answers. We need actual solutions.
The tent shows what's happening in buildings in countries like Canada, Australia, and the Netherlands. Vocal New York says overdoses are happening more frequently, with the more lethal fentanyl-laced heroin now flooding the market. Simply put, this group says if someone is going to use drugs, it's better to do so around a doctor than in a park or alley with no one to help.
It increases public order, and that it does not increase transition to drug use or injection drug use.
Daniel Hartford says he's been homeless for 4 years and has seen 10 friends die from drug use. He says a supervised injection facility would entice other users he knows who are homeless to come inside and get the help they need. After you use drugs legally, you're then connected with organizations that help with drug treatment programs and disease testing.
I tell them don't do that, too much, Yeah, but they do, it's bringing tears to my eyes, because I had so many friends of mine die.
Under the pavilion on the Ithaca Commons is a tent that's proposing some controversial changes.
So what do you think about that? It's happening in Ithaca, New York already. They're calling them safe spaces, and they're calling for this to be a movement around the country. You do know maybe that Georgia and Alabama has one of the highest opioid addiction and addiction death rates in the country, particularly rural Georgia and rural Alabama. Don't know how it happened, but somehow we have that distinction of having more people dying from those types of drug overdoses than anywhere else. Do you think that it is the taxpayers' responsibility to provide what they're calling safe spaces? So there's a space, they pay for either a doctor or a nurse, and if you're on crack, you know where that place is, you go there, you get high. If you're shooting up, you go there, you get high. It's safe, nobody's gonna hurt you, supposedly. And the deal is they watch you get high. You can come, get high and leave, or you can come, and the goal is for them to give you literature and encourage you to get off drugs. It's a Talk to Me Tuesday. Actually, I'm throwing that one out there because that just struck me this morning. But let's talk about what's going on. Anything on your mind, it's a Talk to Me Tuesday. We can talk about it, including everybody wants to talk about the the stuff that we're giving away. Yes, and I hope she's going to give me, usually she gives me 20 or 30 tickets. I hope I'm able to give away that many to the Balloon Fest so everybody just about who wants one can get one. But if not, we'll pull names on Friday. And Timothy Childry, I do see, my friend, that you want the sharper image, and right now you're the first one and only one on the list, so you might just win it. Okay, let's talk. It's a Talk to Me Tuesday. Tony Benzino says, I pay for rehab, not for them to shoot up. That's crazy. Nadia Nicole Rivers says, I agree. There's so much other stuff that those funds could be used for. The effects of drugs are choices. Taxpayers should not have to pay for those choices. So what do you think? In New York, they're saying if we can save a life, then it's worth the cost of it. That we're going to put up tents in areas. Those tents will be manned by security and by either a nurse or a doctor. The crackhead, is that wrong? I don't want to be derogatory. The crack user comes in. The person who shoots up comes in. And they're able to do their drugs in front of a nurse or a doctor so that if they OD, then someone's there to help them. But other than that, the nurse and the doctor don't have anything to do with it. They can't call the police, they can't take your name, they can't report you. It's called a safe place, and taxpayer dollars pays for it. I don't know if that would ever make it to to Columbus, but who knows? There is conversation to get every state to start providing safe places for drug addicts. Timothy Childry says, I cannot get disability, but they're going to pay for people to shoot up? Okay. Deborah Sykes, no taxpayer dollars for that. How many addicts are going to read the material? And I guess that's it. They're there and they have material for you, and it's written material. And I guess they have They're prepared to have conversations and counseling. But if somebody's dragging off the street to get high, and they do want to be safe, I guess, do you think they want to hear what you have to say about getting off drugs? Let private donors fund it if they want it. And good afternoon, Greg Countryman. Thank you so much for watching. And he is the Marshal of Muskogee County. And so you may have a comment about this, because these are situations that you encounter. Someone who is maybe high on drugs and they're committing a crime, or someone's high on drugs and who may be in danger of being hurt because they're incapacitated and they're an easy target. What do you think, Greg Countryman? Do you think that taxpayer dollars should pay for safe spaces? It's already started in New York. They collect your money, you go work every day, they take part of that money and they use it to provide safe spaces. I'm not giving a comment, but it might sound like you kind of know where I'm coming from. I don't think that that is the answer. Have I thought it through and know exactly what the answer is? No, but I don't think that's the answer. Do you think that a safe space would actually encourage more drug use? They're saying that no, it doesn't. That it actually helps to save lives, because there's a nurse that's sitting right there watching you shoot up. And she can't encounter you, or she can't say anything or do anything. She's just there to watch. And then if you OD, she's there to render some health care to you so that you don't OD. And she's also there as you leave to give you plenty of literature. What do you think? Kanisha Williams says, that sounds like such a good idea, but not at our expense. We already pay for things that don't make any sense. Wow, at some point, and you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe if the drug users were required to give back. I think that in our society we give. What's wrong with requiring people to give something back? Yes, I'll make sure you can eat. Yes, I'll make sure that you're safe, but then you've got to come back and help us at the park, or you've got to come back and help us do something in return for what we have just done for you. I think that's where we missed it. We just want to give and not require anything. And I think it's basic human nature that when you just get stuff for free, you don't appreciate it, and you don't appreciate the people who had to work, because that money is paid for people who went to work. And then they think they make $100, but they only make 66. Why? Because the only 34 went to social services, you know? So you're taking money out from people who work every day and asking them to give it to someone who's not working. Is that cold-hearted? Is that cold? I don't think that's cold. I think that's reasonable, that if someone is to get something, then they should give something back. Jasmine Church says, that's a good idea. Thank you, because sometimes I think I run my mouth an awful lot. Tony Benzino says, hook me up, D, with that sharper image. Uh-oh, Tim Childry, here's someone else that wants it. So there's 2 names on that list. And Nadia is saying here, I feel like it's an encouragement. Like, hey, use drugs. Nothing's going to happen to you, okay? All right. Timothy Childry says, I have an idea. You do some work, and then we'll talk. I agree with that. I think people need to be helped. And I think at a certain point, most people on drugs wish they could get off drugs. I think most of us know someone who's either on drugs or has been on drugs. And everyone I've known who has been on drugs wanted desperately to get off drugs, and they were so far down that road, it was just hard for them to do it. So I think most people who are on drugs, giving up their lives. I talked to a very good high school friend of mine the other day, lost her teeth, lost her health, lost her reputation, lost everything, and she said, I wish I had done what my mother told me 40 years ago. So there are regrets there, but do we owe them a free place to do drugs? And if you're strong enough to get up and do the drugs, why not have them give something back? And people say it's demeaning. Picking up trash is not demeaning. If that's all that you can do, or doing lawns for the city, or doing something for the city, maybe not around children, but doing something to give back, so that you're a contributing part of society. And I think your self-esteem is better. This idea that you just show up and say, I have a need, and I give you a check, which comes from somebody else's money. I give you somebody else's money just because you have a need. You know, I don't think that, I think that's one of the downfalls of our American system, is just distributing, taking money from someone and giving it to someone else, and not requiring anything back. So I'm probably going to catch it for that one, but I'm sorry. Okay. Deborah Sykes says, we have elders in the community struggling. Those tax dollars could be used for elders, child care, educational assistance, etc. An addiction or an addict will not change until they want to. My sister is 8 years sober. Wow. Wow. And that is so true. We had a family member that was on drugs, and I was just always trying to fix that person, fix that person. My mother would say, you know what? They're going to go until they get ready to stop. Just, you know, you're going to drive yourself crazy trying to get that person help. Until they want help, they're not going to change. And I believe that. Oh, Jasmine Church says, no, we don't owe them anything. Is that cold-hearted and low down? Because that's what they're saying in New York, that it is inhumane to allow them to continue to go to these crack houses and drug houses that are unsanitary, and maybe they're crime-ridden. Why not give them a clean place? Do you owe them a clean place to go? If they messed up their lives with drugs, do we owe them a way out? Now, do you want to give them a way out? Sure, we all do. But am I supposed to go to work and my money pays for your way out? Because that's the only way it's paid. The government doesn't make anything. The government does not provide a service and generate money. All of the money the government has, as everybody watching knows, comes from taking it out of other people's checks. You know, all the money for all the services, people who are going to work every day, they take it out of your check. And then it's not everybody's check, because some people who, if you don't make enough money, the money that they do take out, they give it right back at the end of the year. So really you didn't pay the taxes. It's those people who at the end of the year, they say, you know what, you made too much money for us to give you anything back. So if they're working hard, they make a little bit more than the average person, and that money never comes back. So do they owe you money because they make more money? Do they owe that to them? Wow. Nadia Nicole Rivers says, that's the key. They have to want to change. You can't force it on them. Likewise, as long as they want to use, they will. They call them safe spaces in New York. Hey, you know what? I've got a couple of minutes, got 1 or 2 minutes. Anybody have any other thing going on? I wanted to talk about this, but we didn't get to it. 23 homicides, not necessarily all ruled murders, but 23 deaths in Columbus at the hands of someone else. 23 already, and we're in the 8th month. 23. I remember as a reporter when 5 in a year was considered outrageous, and we have had 23. What's going on in Columbus? It's almost in a certain group of people, and I'm not trying to, and that's just true. Why is this happening? What has gone wrong? What has happened? 23. Is the mayor, should she be held, her feet be held to the fire, to have some sort of movement to go forth? Is it even the mayor's responsibility? Whose responsibility is it to get the number of murders, homicides, accidental, deliberate, whatever, the deaths under control? 23 is a lot for a city our size. Now, we may be cleaning up crime in some other areas, because generally I feel safe in Columbus, I do. But 23 murders, that's a lot. Wow. Oh, Nadia says, it's hard to feel safe anywhere anymore. Deborah Sykes says, I see this as a racially charged issue. Who was talking about safe spaces 10 plus years ago? So I think Deborah is saying that until the broader community became involved in things, and in talking about the non-black, the white community started seeing more drug abuse. There wasn't any talk of safe spaces, and now there is. Do you think that's racially charged? And here we are. These 3 gentlemen are from Phoenix City. They were arrested in down by Panama City, and I don't know all of the details, but they were involved in what they called a drug ripoff. Whether they were ripping someone off or someone tried to rip them off, I do not know. But it's murder. They killed another teenager, and these are young men. What the heck is going on? You see someone that young and good looking, and you know there's nothing wrong with their minds, and yet something has compelled them to make this choice of a lifestyle. And every day I come in here, I do the news at 5 o'clock in the morning with Miller Robson, Josh Pate. and almost dread it sometimes. When I come in, I ask Tochi, our producer, I said, Tochi, what happened overnight? And very commonly, it's someone got shot, someone got shot, someone got shot. Opelika, over in West Point, Columbus, someone is getting shot down in Casita. It's just happening constantly. Wow. Woo. So let's continue to talk about that. I've got to get ready for the 12 o'clock noon news. On Tuesday, we have the Talk to Me Tuesday. Whatever it is on your mind, you let me know. We'll talk about it. I am going to give away that Sharper Image Key Finder. Tim, you need to get a system and quit losing your keys. How about that? And so do I. I don't know where my keys are. I came here today with my spare keys. I knocked on the door. I said, I don't have my security fob. Will you let me in? Because I don't know where my keys are, but they're somewhere in the house. So I'm going to hook up my own Sharper Image. Don't forget, we're giving away lots and lots and lots of tickets. And I want somebody to not only go to the Balloon Fest at Callaway Gardens, get your little hiney up in that balloon and fly. Okay? I'm not going, so don't ask me. But I'm not, I don't know, I'm afraid of heights, but somebody needs to get it up there and go. Had so many people earlier today telling me that they have never been to Callaway Gardens, let alone to the Balloon Fest. Well, I have been, never gotten the balloons, but it is awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, this Thursday, if you are a writer, I'm going to tell you where you need to be to hook up with some of the most prestigious writers in the country that can help you launch your career. And then Friday, we're talking about that Zika virus. If you know a young lady who is just, she thinks this is her time to become pregnant, or she has just become pregnant, she needs to hear this. The Zika virus is prevalent in Georgia, and state officials are warning us against it. Thank you so much for being with us. Love you guys. The noon news is coming up here on WLTZ. Stay with us all day for 6, 10, and 11, and I'll be back on the news after the noon today at 5 in the morning. Love you guys.